Alright, what is good? Beginning of the stream. Obviously gonna wait a second because I got to post the alert and maybe get some music set up, depending if I'm feeling it. I don't know. Maybe a little background music wouldn't hurt. Um, 1 second. Okay. It's maybe some music set up here. Oh, oh, oh. Can you go on the other screen? Oh, nice. Oh, it's still not working. Thank you. Oh, oh, nice. And now it's just not responding. Can you move? No. There we go. Okay. It is picking it up a little. I don't even know how loud that is. You know what? I'm not even gonna mess with that 'cause I don't care that much about it. It's gonna be a short stream anyways. So yeah, jumping into it. First, going over last week. There's really not much to go over. I only traded on technically Friday, but I was trading like Tuesday. I just never got an entry, so that's what we are going to go over. So I have to rewind to Tuesday at, I guess we'll start at 10. So go down to the 5 minute. Nothing in the AM. I did see something now from people that trade the same strategy for me, but I mean, obviously this is a little V-shaped recovery or 930 Judas. There was definitely an entry in there, but I'm not going to go over that because I wasn't on the charts and it has nothing to do with me. But figured I would mention that. And actually, I just now realized you can remove this replay thing on the chart as well. If I can find it, can't. It should be on the canvas. Yeah, replay mode off. Boom. Okay, so fast forwarding to the PM. Yeah, you gotta go to the 5 minute here real quick. Jump over to here. No, I went a little too far ahead, but I need to see it. So basically, with this setup here, I did not take this because let's see. I just know I did not take this. So I'd drawn out on this 15-minute range discount. We came into discount. We did not get an inversion here. Coming into 1 p.m., there was nothing to inverse, maybe on the 32nd, but was not looking for that. And then we kind of had a retest here, and there was no 1 minute or anything to enter here. Took out the high here, and then we left these equal highs. And then we had finally left a leg to inverse. And at this point, just because of how we were on the day, the bias was bullish. And at least at this point in time, just because we've already taken out a bunch of session liquidity, and well, let me rephrase that. I was only targeting the high here, so maybe at this point I wasn't bullish, but it definitely was bullish throughout the morning and still coming into lunch. But eventually, we have to more than likely retrace. We don't Market doesn't have to do anything, but more than likely we're going to retrace at a certain point. But I had just taken this just because this was the first inversion here that or was looking at this because I figured, especially since we left the equal highs and everything like that, that this was a possible setup. We also were holding this order block, I believe, and I didn't take this though. I think I I had started to realize around this time that it was more than likely not the best option to keep longing here. I also the risk, it was a 1-to-1. I mean, I just from the trades that I've been having that are a lot of break even and small losses, I'm not really trying to, again, I had mentioned I'm not trying to really take anything that's, too not really out there as in confluences, but that's also, it's not this worth to take 11 point setup like this to risk also risking 11 points. So that's why I did not take this, and this did end up playing out. I would have gotten break even anyways right there, as you can see. So it doesn't really matter. And then let this play out a little bit here. This is eventually where I was realizing to take shorts here, and I wanted to take this right here, but as you can see, we had a set of equal lows here, which also the internal low of the trading leg. So I couldn't take this anymore, as we had already taken out what would have been my break even point. And I did have it drawn out here. And as we could see, of course it plays out. But we started to get this retest here. And again, it was coming into 230, and how I have already mentioned in not only my trade recaps but the live from last week that a lot of setups that I had taken had a tendency to keep rejecting off of a buy side sell side inefficiency, so basically a fair value gap. And again, you can see here, rejected, and again, it's all about looking at the candle price section too. Like, we have a strong move down here, but we reject. We don't close in it, or obviously inverse it. We have a doji here, and then we have a big move up. So I'm like, okay. And this is 230, which by this point I remember I had set a time limit for myself. I said if it does not inverse before 230, I'm not going to sit here and try to not only force it but hope it's going to get inverse. So I got off, and of course, literally 2 minutes later, yeah, it inversed at 32. That's when it finally inversed, and this would have been my break even point, and I was targeting these equal lows in 15 minutes originally. Yet, had I gotten this, who knows, maybe I would have taken off the order block here, but I believe it did ride the full way. Yeah, but I also more than likely would have been stopped out of break even if I tried to get to the full move. So that was Tuesday. Again, one setup that I had realized was not, worth taking, which would have been break even anyways. Second entry, I didn't even get an entry because it had already taken out the internal low. And then this one was past my trading time. So Tuesday was a weird day. I mean, yeah, with all that had happened, and I was on the charts for a while that day too. So now jumping towards Friday, which again is literally the only things I looked at were Tuesday and Friday. I don't remember how Wednesday and Thursday were, like if I had been on the charts or not, but if I was, there obviously was nothing there. I think Thursday I was, and yeah, obviously, like I said, there just must have not been anything there. So now jumping into Friday, I did not take anything in the PM session. So just looking at the AM here, we had this huge. Oh, sorry, actually, I did. This was in the PM session. So AM kind of had like a V-shaped recovery, and then ended up slowly trailing down. Had a long move down. I believe this. No, not a 4 hour, 1 hour. Oh no. Okay. So it was a 15 minute. That's what it was. It was a huge 15 minute, and we had not quite, or did we? No. Yeah, we had not tapped into discount before this had happened actually, but we basically edged discount, and now I don't believe this was that good of a setup. I was forced. Let's just say I was on my phone and I was rushing to go to the bathroom when I had taken this, and this was the cleanest inversion I had seen in so long. where we rejected on one candle. We finally got a clean inversion. So that was kind of what really made me just take the entry off the bat without too much diving into, okay, is this a smart setup to take? I think I also marked out like, no, I don't really know. I just remember I was targeting this low, which was inside of a 5 minute. It seemed likely that we could continue to take it, and it was a break even trade. I mean, I don't really know too much to say on this. Like I said, it was kind of just a rush factor. It was the cleanest inversion I had seen in a while. I think I had taken off a limit order, or no, sorry, I did not take it off a limit order. I took it off the 3 minute inversion there, and then set the stops here. Took out the break even point, stopped on break even. So yeah, there really was not too much to cover over last week. And again, with Wednesday and Thursday, I think price action was just so terrible that I didn't take anything. And that is it for last week. I'm not going to hold you guys up for too long, as there, like I said, there's really nothing to go over from last week. Now I can finally get all this stuff off of here. Yeah, because I didn't take anything today. Yes. Okay, finally. Like having the clean chart all the time. I'm used to resetting it every day. But now I just kind of like hide the stuff. Anyways, as for today, I didn't take anything today. I'm trying to remember. I almost took something in the PM, I believe. Yeah, because I wasn't on during AM. So, oh yeah, I believe I was gonna take a long, but I don't remember where. Anyways, going over the week, even though it is Tuesday now, or sorry, I'm getting my days confused. Yeah, it's Monday. Okay, oops. Again, it was better to do this last Monday since it was Memorial Day and there wasn't real trading hours. But I mean, it's still the beginning of the week technically. So outlook on the week. I mean, again, last week's was pretty spot on. How I said with depending on how we were going to react off this 4 hour in this order block, and I did say that I was looking for us to take out these highs, which we did pretty early on in the week, halfway through the week. Yeah, and then I was saying like if we ended up closing below the order block for 4 hour, then we would continue lower. And as of yesterday, I remember when I was looking at the charts, I was thinking, okay, well, we had this move up, we took out all the liquidity, and then of course we literally had the huge move up, inverse it, break a structure, all that classic good stuff that you can see in a reversal. But now, instead of continuing down that, oh, I gotta refresh. Instead of continuing down with that momentum, now we're starting to retrace back up, which again is kind of nice because overall market conditions are starting to lean more bullish in like the longer term sense now with everything that's economically kind of calmed down. As for the outlook this week, I mean, we're kind of in this range on the daily, or sorry, yeah, on the daily. Uh, gotta think. And again, this is another tricky outlook. It was not easy to kind of try to understand what the week would be from last week, and it's kind of the same thing I'm getting this week. We did just inverse this 1 hour. We have no 4 hour to hold us to the upside. We did tap into this one today, but we also did just inverse this one. So, but we held that one, inverse this 1 hour. Okay, so what I could assume going into the rest of the week is depending on how we respect or uh yeah, it all depends on, I would say, how we respect or reject this discount range. If we do respect the equilibrium here, then I don't even know. honestly can't say for sure. This week in particular is kind of tricky. I could say what I would like to see is that we tap into discount here, respect it, and then continue towards these highs. But again, we had already just taken out previous week's high, but it is or all these highs over here. And realistically, I would like to see us reject discount and then take out these. I don't even know. I don't want to say for sure. I don't really have a weekly outlook this week. I can't say for sure. Again, last week was tricky too, but it was kind of if then statements. Whereas this week we really don't have anything on the buy side to hold us up, as in conditions wise. But economically, I just can't see us wanting to, unless something changes within the next few days, come out and down and take these lows. So I would just say leaning more bullish for the week is really what I could say. So, yeah, that is it for the Journal Weekly Outlook. Again, not really much to go over, and not really a great weekly outlook I could provide, but it's also a good thing I'm not a swing trader either. So, I'm just more focused on the day by day. Hopefully this week can finally start to get good setups. But again, now I'm being really picky just because I don't really care. I'm not going to deal with, bullshit price action. Once it starts to clear up, okay, I'll start putting heavier risk on the table. But as for right now, I'm really just keeping it so small and not even wanting to take anything unless it's clear for me because I'm tired of wasting my time on the charts too and sitting there and just seeing what I see every day as of recently. So we are in June now, so hopefully that clears things up. But again, out of my control. The only thing I can do is react, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So yeah, that is it for today. Just I would say keep on the lookout for possibly any trade recaps throughout the week, and then come back on next Sunday or Monday. Peace out.